Hello, my beautiful and blessed people. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. We're already almost finishing the first week of the year. Are we already finished it? I'm not sure. I have a hard time keeping track of time. I just know the days that I have to work. I've been meaning to come on here and make a video for you guys. A video for the new year. But I'll be honest, I didn't really have much to say because I have been spending so much time with myself, right? Because that's important. I figured I will make this video while I'm cooking. I'm actually making my dad's food. Because for some reason, when I'm in the kitchen, things that just seem to flow. Because I love to cook. So, maybe we can kind of go with that, right? Making sure that this year, you set it up for yourself, for you to do the things that you love. Do things that bring you joy. Do things that fill your heart in a good way, in a good, healthy way. Have people around you that value you for who you are. You know, the type of people that I'm going to lean on here. The type of people that make you feel good when you're around them. Yeah, those type of people. That's the type of people you want to take into this new year with you, right? Relationships that are balanced. Relationships with people where you have an equal give and take, so that you don't feel like you are giving more than you are receiving. It's very draining when you live that type of life. I'm a giver. I love to give. I love to love. I love to make other people happy. But being that type of person, sometimes I end up putting out too much of myself, and I forget to focus on me and to turn that love back to me, right? Or at least limit myself where I'm not giving so much that it's going to make me feel drained. When you give too much and you don't receive the same thing back, it creates a feeling that you think people are using you. But reality is, if you're given, most people are going to receive because it feels nice to receive. So therefore, you also need to be aware of your actions when you are doing too much. I think that we have such an ability to be so quick to blame others, right? With the things that are going on with us, that we don't realize that a lot of these things, we have control over not letting it happen to us. That a lot of it has to do with how you are treating yourself, how you are valuing yourself. Because the only thing you have control over is you. The only thing you have control over is your actions. So instead of blaming the other person, try to figure out what it is that you can do to be able to change the way you feel. And I think the hardest part is having to distance yourself from people that are no good for you. And when I mean no good, I just mean for things that are going to cause you to be stuck in that cycle, right? And it's hard. It's hard when we have to do that to the ones that we love. But you must protect yourself. You must have boundaries. Because otherwise you just stay stuck. You stay stuck in these feelings that don't make you feel good. You stay stuck in these feelings that cause anxiety in your life. Causing you to have other symptoms that are very unpleasant, right? Heartache and all of those things. So therefore, you need to be aware of that. You need to get to know yourself and see what are the things that you have control of and that you can try to change, or how can you try to look at the situation in a different way so that you don't feel drained by it, you know? And I think the hardest part really is letting go. Letting go is very difficult. We get used to the feeling. We get used to the ups and downs because it creates activity in our life, right? Because when you're at peace, things happen, but they happen in a very different way. They happen in a very, very different way. Right now that I have been able to control more my emotions, that I have learned to understand more that things don't happen to me, they happen for me, for my soul growth. I am creating a peace for myself that I'm not used to. I'm not used to it yet. So it also takes time for that to settle. It takes time for you to start getting used to that feeling. And I am the type of person that I love to create. One thing that I know is how to create. My masculine energy is very strong. It has always been very strong because of how much, by being raised by a single mother, right? Having to provide for myself, not having a father that was present. So I kind of had to become that masculine energy for myself, which created a huge imbalance, right? Because of that imbalance, I created an imbalance with too much masculine energy in all of my relationships as well. I always became the provider, and I wouldn't let myself be taken care of, which you end up attracting people into your life that need to be provided for, which that's fine as long as there's an equal give and take, because otherwise that's when you realize that your kindness gets taken for a weakness, and at times you can be taken advantage of. Okay, but what was my point with this? My point with this was that I have the ability to create, a very easy ability to create, not just for myself, but to also help other people create for themselves. It's a great ability to have, but then I used to have a hard time receiving and being hyper independent, and therefore always have to fend for myself. And that created a huge imbalance. And because of the fact that I'm so good at creating things, I'm constantly doing something. I'm constantly trying to grow, trying to build something. And not that I'm not satisfied. I'm satisfied with what I have, but I always want the next. I always want growth, which it's good. It's great, right? But then you get so focused on creating that you forget to just slow down and go with the flow. And that's what I'm doing this year. I just want to go with the flow, but in a very conscious way. You have to look back at the things that you did the previous year so that you don't make the same mistakes. And you have to be open to the change. We have resistance to change. And in order for you to experience things in a different way, you have to be open to that change. You have to be open to realizing that things might not turn out the way you had planned, but that the divine plan is always perfect. That the divine plan is always perfect. And that thing not working out was also part of the process for you to be able to learn something from it so that you're able to apply it to the next situation that's going to come into play. Remember that life is a game. It's the game of life and how to play it. We are here learning how to master that. Learning how to master that. Learning how to master ourselves, especially, so that you are able to consciously co-create with the universe and everything that there is in it. So that you're able to consciously create for yourself the life that you want. And it's difficult, it's hard to understand sometimes, but it's doable. And one thing that I always repeat, that doesn't mean that it's all rainbow and roses. It's not, because this shit is fucking hard. All right. And most people, that's why most people don't want to do it. Because when they start to see how hard it is for you to go within and start doing the self-work where you're reprogramming the things that you have learned from when you were a child, it's so scary. It's so scary because, like, you start realizing, like, wow, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have been living my entire life like this. That you actually been living your entire life under a illusion, not knowing who you truly are and not knowing how much support you have from within yourself once you start learning more about your capabilities. And how we are so not programmed, right, to not use these tools. Like, we're completely blind to it. That's why it's called an awakening. Because essentially we are just walking around, for the most part, blindfolded and in denial. Because a lot of us also stay in denial. Because we are shown what we like to call red flags, right? In the beginning of situations, we are shown, our intuition gives us signs when things are happening, and we tend to ignore these things. We tend to ignore these things because we are so disconnected from ourselves that we are losing the ability to be able to fully understand when something is coming up, when our intuition is guiding us, because of how programmed we are. We are being programmed to trust what other people tell us to do versus ourselves. And one thing I can guarantee you, nobody knows what's best for you other than you. Once you get to that point. But you have to learn. You have to learn about yourself. You have to learn about what it is that you like, about what it is that you want. And so that you're able to create that for you. Right? So that you're able to follow your instincts and you're able to flow with how you feel, not how you're going to make others feel. And especially me, oh my gosh, I used to always put other people before me. Other people before me. But this year, no more, especially because I'm a caregiver as well. I'm always giving, right? I'm always giving, and I love to give, but I just want to make sure that I am giving and sharing my love with the right people, especially those that I let close to my circle. That's really important for you to be able to master that. You know, the people close to you sometimes are the ones that will disappoint you the most, but it's just karmically, that's how it's been set up. Right? I don't like to call it a simulation because that makes me feel uneasy. Like, this is too real to call it a simulation. Calling this a simulation makes me think of us like being robots, and that is not what we are. All right, I want to make sure that you guys get clarity on that too. And if you believe that that's how it is, like this is a computer game, whatever. I mean, that's your belief, and I am not gonna judge you for that. But I don't like it. It makes me feel uneasy. So therefore, I don't usually like using words like that. Like, we are in a simulation. Like, come on. We are so much. We feel so much. I don't know about you guys. I feel everything. I can even feel like plants and animals and all of these things. But I'm starting to ramble, and I'm almost done cooking. So the point of this video for today is just for you to become more aware. For you to take this year to figure out who you really are. It's the year of the snake. Did you guys know that? It's the year 9. It's the year of the snake. It's completion. It's shedding. But it's also being cautious. Right? Being cautious so that you don't poison yourself with the venom. And it's also the first year of the age of Aquarius, where we move in the frequency of love and unity and light. Don't look at other people as your competition, but yet somebody that you can work and grow with. Try to make an attempt to be a good person. And it's not like, when I say being a good person, it's you being there like where you have to try so hard. No, just be kind. Be kind to others. Be grateful. Especially with yourself. Try to be cautious with situations that you know are not good for you. Try to be cautious with keeping people around you that you know cause you anxiety and take away your peace. No matter who they are. Don't be afraid to distance yourself. Because sometimes what happens is with the distance, it always also creates clarity for that other person. For them to maybe see that what you had was actually something healthy. That what you had has been placed there for growth for both parties. But the distance creates clarity, not just for you but for others. And what's meant to be will be. And you need to realize that when situations like that happen, that's God working on your behalf, so that you're able to take that time to focus on yourself. Just like rejection. I always like to say that rejection is God's protection. It's God's protection, so that you don't end up repeating a cycle, so that you don't end up feeling hurt. Because God and your guides and the universe, they know what's best for us. We are the ones down here that are blinded and limited. And that's why we have such a hard time accepting things when they don't go the way we would like them to. But once you learn how to live your life in flow, despite what happens, you really start to understand things in a very different way. And you don't let it take away your peace. And when I say that, it doesn't mean that you're not going to go through bad situations, that you're not going to hurt, that you're not going to be upset and things like that, but you're going to be able to deal with these situations in a better way. You're going to be able to transmute those energies so that they don't make you feel bad, I guess, right? For a long time. You'll be able to transmute through them. And when the occasion arises, you're going to be able to deal with them in a different way because you have learned how to master yourself. And that's what's most important. It's learning how to master yourself. So this year of 2025, that's what we are going to do. We are going to focus on shedding this old skin. Let's just let ourselves slide right out of it like a snake and embrace what has been set up new for us. Embrace all of the possibilities that are ahead, and embrace the change. Be open to the change. The one thing we're always sure of is change, that things are constantly changing. So be open for what 2025 has in store for us, but let's create something different. Let's try to do things different than what we did last year so that we are not stuck in a cycle. Okay? And I hope you were able to get something out of this message, especially if you made it until the end. We're 22 minutes in and I'm almost done cooking for my dog. Oh, all right. And remember that I love you, and God, the universe, and our guides, and all of this amazing assistance that we have to be able to live this life here on earth loves you so much more. Mwah.